Thanks for joining us here on Arc Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schnee. It is Friday, October 17th. Tonight, it is a sports show. Don't change the channel. Stay here with us. College football, some golf, some cool stuff. Utah college football fans preparing for what they call the Holy War here, BYU, Utah. Tonight, we'll hear from both sides and then have you vote on who you think will win the battle in Provo tomorrow. And meteorologist Sean Kelly is here. And I'm glad you're here, Sean, because last weekend things would not have worked out very well. Perhaps if you were sticking around for a late game, we had issues with the concert festival. We had issues with a delayed kickoff at Rice-Eccles Stadium. There were some problems here. But what are we looking at here? Obviously now, but into kickoff tomorrow night.
It's going to be on the chilly side, but to start the game, 60s. We'll take that, right? After the past few weeks of some very, very active weather. Those highs today, we didn't get quite to 60 degrees, but it was close. 59 degrees here in Salt Lake City, down towards the south, 72 in St. George. So hang in there. We're heading in the right direction. We're at 53 right now. It'll still be a pretty chilly evening and night ahead as those lows will be back down into the 40s. We've got clear skies and calm conditions as we head through the overnight. You can see that hour-by-hour forecast showing tomorrow morning, if you're an early riser, getting ahead on some of those weekend errands. It's going to be cold, but we will be warming back up into the 60s. We go tomorrow, 70s for your Sunday as we continue to climb those temperatures each and every day. We'll let you know how long this lasts because, believe it or not, we've got another cold front, unfortunately, moving in as we make our way into the start of the work week next week and a little bit of rain. We'll talk about those details coming up. My First Alert weather forecast.
One of the biggest rivalry games in all of college football happening this weekend in Provo, with Utah traveling just a little bit south to take on the BYU Cougars. Now, former Ute legend Scott Mitchell was a quarterback for Utah when he was part of the big 1988 win over BYU that snapped the Cougars' 9-game winning streak over the Utes. Scott will be back in the booth Saturday as part of the radio call. This morning, he caught up with Ron and Lincoln and wanted to see about how this game will shake out. Ron wanted to see specifically how he feels about the predictions.
I feel great. This is the most exciting, I think the most important game in this rivalry. It's a chance to get a leg up to win the Big 12 conference and get an automatic berth to the college football playoffs, which has never happened. So I'm excited about the game. These teams are very good. Both of them are ranked. Big Noon is there. So this is a big game, not just here regionally, but across the country.
Okay, I am a Cougar fan, obviously. So
I could not tell.
So what would be a weakness that BYU should maybe focus on against the University of Utah if they want to exploit it?
Oh, man, I can't give you the secrets, but, I think these teams are evenly matched. The key for Utah really is Devin Dampier, and he's an exciting player. He's also, mostly a running quarterback, and he's extremely dynamic at that. But throwing the football has been, I don't want to say a bad thing because he's thrown a lot of very nice passes, but he's certainly more comfortable running. So if he can throw the ball well, Utah's going to have an amazing night. But if he struggles with that, that's going to be a challenge.
Scott, I was looking at some national write-ups of this game. It's gotten a lot of attention. A lot of national outlets focused on this, but also they seem to be evenly split when they were kind of issuing predictions. What do you make for that sort of, even matchup that a lot of the national press are viewing this as?
Yeah, it's really hard to tell how good these teams really are. You have a freshman quarterback at BYU, a true freshman quarterback, which is amazing. He's played incredible, but who has BYU really played? So you don't really know how good these teams are until they actually get on the field, and that's why it's difficult to make a prediction. Utah had a tough loss against Texas Tech, who is, I think they're the 5th or 6th rated team in the country right now and the top team in the Big 12, and they had a tough game. They played UCLA at the beginning of the year, and everyone thought that was a big win, and then UCLA was not very good. Now they look like they might be better. So it's trying to figure out how the teams these two teams have played and how they've done against each of these teams. And so you just try to guess, and it's really hard to determine. I'm not sure I know how good either one of these teams is based upon who they've played, and so it kind of makes for an intriguing matchup, and I think that's part of what's exciting about this game. We'll find out who really is a contender and who is the pretender on Saturday?
Honestly, I couldn't agree more with Scott there. It's early on in the year to a degree still, where there's still some of the bigger matchups to be had after this weekend. 5-1 Utah got their test with Texas Tech at home. I did watch the entirety of the Colorado BYU game where BYU had to play from Cougs. They are at home. They do have a quarterback, by the way, that Scott mentioned that is a freshman, not really playing like a freshman. So it only really at this point comes out who's hot, who's not. That's why the game starts 0-0. We head from the Utah side of things now to get the BYU perspective on the big game against the Utes tomorrow at the Lavelle Edwards Stadium. So Alema Harrington was a running back on the BYU 1984 national title team and is a friend to all of us here at KUTV2 News. He says underdog status will serve the Cougars in the end.
Thanks for not having me on with Scott Mitchell and bringing back all the bad memories of my senior season at BYU at Rice Stadium. My parents flew in from Hawaii for the game, and we lose, and Scott Mitchell lit us up, and a ton of respect for Scott and, of course, his college and NFL career. But I'm actually grateful that I don't have to do that face-to-face.
Alema, I want to ask you the same question I asked Scott. I was noticing a lot of national write-ups of this game coming up this weekend from national media outlets, and they were kind of evenly split in predictions about who would come out on top. What do you think is behind that split about these two ranked teams?
Well, I think, you look at the odds makers and depending on where you're looking, Utah is the favorite. And I'm actually grateful for that. I think it serves BYU to go into this game as the underdog. You're coming off a double overtime victory on the road at Arizona. It'd be easy to be a little bit, as we use the term we use in sports, is hungover from that game, even though it was a victory. Sometimes you can have a loss that might hang with you. Sometimes you can have an emotional win that could hang with you. And for BYU, not that it's difficult to get focused for the rivalry game, but I think the fact that you are the underdog at home and you're undefeated, you're higher ranked than your opponent, all of those things lend to BYU being laser focused going into this. And so I'm not surprised that Utah is favored by 3 points in this game, because BYU has not faced a team where they're going to go up against something that you'll see on Saturday against the University of Utah, which is a very good defense and offense that is effective, especially on third downs. So I actually like the fact that BYU goes in as underdogs. I think it serves the Cougars.
What makes this rivalry so great? And do you think the fans, do they sometimes take it too seriously?
Well, I think the recent arrest would indicate that, yes, they take it too seriously. And there's no place for that kind of nonsense. And I think the thing that has been beautiful about this rivalry, obviously, is, the two schools, and one founded by Brigham Young, one named after Brigham Young. And then, there's a religious aspect, which, is kind of blown out of proportion because there's just as much of an LDS presence on that Utah team as there is on the BYU team. But it's one of the storied rivalries. I think it's one of the best, if not the best rivalries in the country. And I came into it from, Hawaii, and the rivalry was BYU versus Hawaii. When I got here to Utah, I was just engrossed in this, and it's the best rivalry in college football for a number of reasons. But one of the reasons, and especially this year, is you're in the same conference again. This has conference implications, and that's part of what makes this such a great rivalry.
We love our guy, Alema Harrington. Both teams ranked in the top 25 right now and are balling to start the first half of the season. Like Scott said earlier, who is the contender? Who is the pretender? We want to know. What's your prediction for the rivalry game between BYU and Utah? Scan the QR code on your screen to weigh in. The obvious poll here. What's your prediction for the game between 15th ranked BYU and 23rd ranked Utah? This has gone really unchanged since I read the poll about 90 minutes ago. A slight uptick in Utah wins by over a touchdown, and those middle two fluctuating between BYU winning by just a slim margin or Utah winning by a slim margin. That is tied at 26%. He made headlines as a high schooler on the professional golf stage. Now a BYU freshman getting another shot. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, Kihei Akina is back and ready to take on the big pros right here in Utah once again.
Honestly, just speechless just to be here. The place is obviously super beautiful. All the fans, the whole setup, all the volunteers. It's just been a great week so far.
That was 18-year-old Lone Peak High School senior Kihei Akina after finishing his second round at the Black Desert Championship last year. Now the BYU freshman is at it again. Last year he nearly made the cut to play into the weekend. He fell short by one stroke. He was named a sponsor exemption for the second straight year and is looking forward to next week's Bank of Utah Championship. I caught up with him earlier today. Did you know you were going to get another phone call this year?
Not at all. You can't really expect to get to get something like this. So it was cool and cool to get it again.
What's your mindset going into another year of a sponsor exemption at Black Desert?
Yeah, it's I learned a lot last year playing in that. I felt like I was just a little kid last year. I feel like I'm a little more mature now. I know more about the game and my game and how I stack up. So that was a good learning experience for me last year. And yeah, now it's more like now I'm ready to play. Now it's game time. Last year was I felt I was just there for I was having the experience. It was my first PGA Tour event, so now it's time to put the work in and get ready for that. I think my iron play has always been a strength of mine, ball striking. And then a part of my game that has it's been a little bit up and down is probably the putting. So we've been working on that, and there's been ups and downs with putting, but that's golf, and that's how it goes. And you always get back to work and trying to make it a strength.
Max Homa's recent announcement just a few hours ago, and Wyndham Clark is there, and Francesco Molinari's there, and Jason Day is, and you're playing in the same field as these guys, by the way. Is there somebody that you would like to have the opportunity to play with, at least Thursday or Friday?
I don't really care, honestly. Whoever's fine. They're all great players, obviously, and great people. Jason Day would be a cool one. Obviously, he's been around for a while and won a few tournaments, so he's definitely a big name. So that's cool. What's
your goal next week?
I want to compete. I want to contend. Last year was kind of a good experience for me to see where I stack up against some of those players, and I thought I've fit in with them pretty well, and my game definitely can compete out there. I know that it can contend in coming down Saturday and Sunday. So we'll just go out there on Thursday and tee it every shot at a time.
Well, Jason Day would be a good one, 13-time winner on the PGA Tour. The updated field today announcing that Joel Damon, fan favorite, is back. Max Homa, maybe you've seen his Instagram, and Sahith Theegala will be in the field as well. Wyndham Clark no longer in the field as he was initially announced, and we shared with you earlier in the week. Two top 20 players in the field, Alex Noren and Maverick McNeely, with a $6 million purse. A one-of-a-kind trophy. The Bank of Utah Championship sure has a lot to give and a lot to offer, and I'll make sure you don't miss any of the action. Join me next week. I'll be in Ivins for the Bank of Utah Championship. Make sure to tune in not only here on Arc Salt Lake for some tidbits, but also talking sports on Channel 2 right after 2 News at 10 o'clock. If you're heading to the tournament, I will be there Friday through Sunday, so come on over and say what's up. I know a lot of you were able to watch the recaps last year and also were at the event. It was nice to connect with a lot of you. Sean, it's a great time to be thinking about golf right now.
Yeah.
Even in northern Utah, you can get out of the swing it still.
I told you it wasn't over here. We still have some nice days that we're looking forward to after the very active stretch of weather. I mean, the rainiest October ever in recorded history, but finally some peace and quiet. But again, after starting off the year with a deficit, we're now above that threshold here, now above average, and now we can kind of play catch up and see some quiet days ahead of us. But yeah, you bet that rain has helped us. Not so much down towards the south. You can still see we're under that extreme drought for portions of Washington County, central Utah, much of the state, though, still under a severe. But closing in across the Wasatch Front, we are technically no longer in a drought. So that was some good soaking rain that we needed, but we still have a long way to go for the remainder of the state. 59 degrees was the high today. We warmed up from yesterday, but still cooler than normal. I'm promising you some even warmer temperatures as we get in the day tomorrow. It's still chilly out there. It's jacket weather if you're about to step outside, heading out to dinner or just going for a walk with a dog. It's in the lower 50s, but again, better than yesterday by about 5 to 7 degrees across the state. 43 in Park City, where it's definitely winter jacket weather. 52 in Vernal, 44 in Panguitch, 69 in St. George. We're dealing with clear skies, and that's going to translate to plenty of sunshine tomorrow. High pressure system will be building in and continuing to build in. bringing us the warm temperatures and keeping the rain, keeping the snow away from us. However, as it moves eastward, this will allow for our next storm to move in. Sunday night to Monday morning, it's not a big one. It's lacking moisture. Only a few isolated showers, more so for northern Utah, northeastern Utah, and across the higher terrain. For the most part, it's out of here by early Monday morning. Dry weather, but cooler weather in its wake. And then Tuesday and Wednesday morning we're dry, but Wednesday afternoon and evening, here's our next storm moving in. This one more so will be for the southern and southeastern part of the state, heading towards the Four Corners, and it's a quick mover. It'll be out of here. So again, a lot quieter, I would say, in the next 7 days. With the game tonight, temperatures into the lower 40s as we head closer towards the end of that game, and across the Provo area as we get into tomorrow evening. Fantastic football weather, going from the 60s down into the 50s as you're heading home. So those lows overnight, we're down into the 40s. We still have freezing cold temperatures to deal with, though. Park City, Evanston, Logan area, Heber flirting with freezing, including Vernal, Richfield, Cedar City just above freezing, 33 in Delta. So definitely cold overnight. Those highs tomorrow, though, we're back into the 60s, plenty of sunshine. If you're going to be out all day, by the way, tomorrow, I know it's not going to be too warm, but still you'll need that sunscreen, which is how sunny it's going to be. St. George, look at this. You're closing in close to 80 degrees by Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. A few showers and storms on Wednesday, then drying out again Thursday and Friday. So a nice stretch of weather here. And across the 7-day forecast for the Wasatch Front, 72 on Sunday. Cold front moves in Monday, dropping us down to the 60s, then a gradual warm-up into the end of the week.
Back here to wrap things up on a Friday night. So BYU has won the last 2 against Utah, but Utah has won 6 of the last 10 and has a large advantage in the overall history of the Holy War. The 96th installment is tomorrow at LaVell Edwards Stadium in Provo. I know you're not going to the game.
Yeah.
The ticket prices are atrocious.
$287.
They keep fluctuating by a few dollars, but are you going to watch the game?
Oh, yeah, of course I'm going to watch the game, but probably save that money maybe on my couch or head out to a friend's house. Or, you know, for those who maybe go outside and maybe wait an hour or so before the game.
Yeah, you might get lucky.
See a price.
You never know. You might get lucky.
I've gotten lucky that way.
That definitely. Here's a live look here behind us outside of LaVell Edwards Stadium. Not a whole lot going. We do know people are camping somewhere. I don't know if it's legal. I don't know if they're okay with it, but I know they're camping. And I know this is a huge game because a lot of national attention on this game here. Obviously, a lot of folks in the state are excited. It's blue or it's red, or you're a Weber State or a Utah State or a Utah Valley or a Southern Utah University. There's some outliers here that said, I don't care about this one, but I think the majority are into it. It's
going to be a close game, I bet.
Yeah.
Hopefully not a blowout.
Well, we'll see. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock in Provo, BYU, Utah. We're back on Monday night. See ya.